Have you ever felt so deeply hurt that it seemed like the world around you was falling apart? Every wound, every tear, leaves a mark on our hearts. But what truly makes us get trapped in pain that seems never-ending? Let's uncover together the 7 reasons why people often get hurt, and how we can rise above that pain. Trusting others too much. Trust is the foundation of every relationship, be it friendship, love, or family. When we choose to trust someone, we give a part of ourselves to them. However, this trust also carries a risk. The risk of betrayal, hurt, and disappointment. Imagine someone who sincerely trusts their best friend, shares all their deepest secrets, and is always there in every joy and sorrow. But one day, they discover that their friend has been talking behind their back, spreading gossip that damages their reputation. The pain felt is not only from the betrayal itself, but also from the sense of loss, losing trust, losing a friend who was once considered a part of their life. Trust, when broken, can destroy even the strongest relationships. The wound from such a betrayal can last a long time, and in some cases, forever. Many people, after being betrayed, become afraid to trust others again. They build walls around their hearts to protect themselves from the pain they've experienced. But these walls can also block out true happiness. In life, we must be wise in giving our trust. Trust is a precious gift that should be given to those who truly deserve it. When we feel hurt from trusting others too much, we must learn from that experience, not to close our hearts, but to be more cautious in the future. Having too high expectations. Hope is one of the greatest motivators in our lives. It gives us purpose, a reason to wake up every morning and go through the day. However, hopes that are too high, especially unrealistic ones, can be a source of deep pain. Consider someone who works tirelessly to achieve their dreams. Perhaps it's a dream job or winning the heart of someone they love. They work hard, make many sacrifices, and give everything for that dream. But when those hopes aren't fulfilled, their world seems to crumble. They feel that all their efforts were in vain, and the disappointment they feel is so profound. Expectations that are too high can weigh us down, making us feel that life is unfair. We hope for rewards for all our efforts, but sometimes reality doesn't align with those hopes. The disappointment that arises from unmet expectations often leaves a deep scar in our hearts. In life, it's important to have hopes and dreams. However, we must also be realistic and accept that not everything will go as planned. When our hopes aren't fulfilled, we must be able to rise and find another path. Disappointment is part of the journey, and from it, we can learn to become stronger. No respect for yourself. Often, the deepest wounds come from within ourselves. When we don't value ourselves, we open the door for others to hurt us. When we constantly belittle ourselves, consider ourselves not good enough, or allow others to dictate our lives, we invite pain into our hearts. Have you ever felt undeserving of love? Or felt that you're not good enough to achieve success? Such thoughts often stem from deep-seated insecurity. When we don't love and value ourselves, we become vulnerable to pain from rejection, criticism, and failure. Imagine a woman who constantly belittles herself. She always thinks that she's not pretty enough, not smart enough, or not successful enough. When she enters a relationship, she tends to withdraw, never feeling worthy of love. When her partner leaves her, she feels that this is proof that she was never worthy of love in the first place. The pain she feels stems from her own belief that she is worthless. Loving yourself is the first step to avoiding pain. When we value ourselves, we won't let others hurt us easily. We'll know our boundaries, and we'll be brave enough to say no when something doesn't align with our values. Learn to love and value yourself because you are the only one who can do that. Too connected to the past. The past is a part of us, a part that shapes who we are today. But when we're too attached to the past, especially to painful memories, we create wounds that never heal. A past full of pain, regret, and loss can become a burden that destroys us from within. Think of someone who has been betrayed in love. They can't forget that bitter experience, and every time they try to open their heart to someone new, the shadows of the past haunt them. They're afraid to love again, afraid to trust again, because the wounds from the past still feel so real. Eventually, they choose to remain alone, believing that it's the only way to protect themselves from pain. A story about a man who lost a loved one in a tragic accident. Every day he wakes up with a deep sense of loss, unable to let go of the beautiful memories they once shared. He avoids everything that could remind him of that event, but the more he tries to forget, the deeper the wound feels. He's trapped in a cycle of grief, unable to move on with his life. The past is part of our journey, but we can't live in its shadows forever. We must learn to accept the past, forgive ourselves and others, and move forward. The wounds from the past may never fully disappear, but we can choose not to let them dictate our future. When we let go of the past, we give ourselves a chance to live again, to find new happiness. Unable to accept reality. Life doesn't always go according to plan. There are times when the reality in front of us doesn't match our hopes and dreams. When we're unable to accept the reality as it is, we create pain for ourselves. Denial of reality traps us in an illusion, a world we create to escape from the truth. Have you ever felt that life is unfair? That what you receive doesn't match the effort you've put in? This feeling often arises when we're unable to accept the reality as it is. We keep hoping that something will change, that a miracle will come and alter our fate. But when that hope doesn't materialize, we feel even more hurt. Imagine a man who loses his job. He can't accept the fact that he has to start over, that everything he's built over the years has crumbled. He feels angry, frustrated, and helpless. Every day he laments his fate, blaming himself and others for what happened. The pain he feels deepens because he can't accept the reality that life must go on. Accepting reality is the first step in overcoming pain. When we accept reality, we give ourselves the opportunity to find solutions and move forward. Life isn't always fair, but we can choose not to be victims of circumstance. When we accept what happens, we can begin to find a way out, rediscover our strength, and move on with more wisdom. Fear of loss. The fear of loss is one of the most powerful and profound emotions. We love with all our hearts, but behind that love, there's always fear. Fear that one day, the person we love will leave, that we'll lose something very precious. This fear often causes us pain, even before the loss actually happens. When we're too afraid of losing, we tend to hold on tightly to what we have. We try to control, regulate, and sometimes we even try to manipulate others to stay by our side. However, these actions often end up pushing them away, causing us to lose what we fear. Think of a mother who's so afraid of losing her child. She controls every aspect of her child's life, not giving them the freedom to make their own decisions. She believes that by doing so, she can protect her child from harm. But over time, the child feels suffocated, feeling they have no room to grow and develop. Eventually, as the child grows up, they distance themselves from their mother, leaving behind deep pain and sadness. Loss is part of life, a part we can't avoid. When we're too afraid of loss, we take away the happiness from our relationships. We must learn to love without fear, to give without expecting anything in return, and to let go when the time comes. When we accept that loss is part of life's journey, we can love more sincerely, more deeply, and more meaningfully. Depending on others for happiness. Happiness is something every human seeks. However, often we search for happiness in the wrong place, in others. We depend on our partner, friends, or family to give us the happiness we desire. But when those people leave or disappoint us, we feel empty, as if our world is falling apart. When we depend on others for happiness, we surrender control of our lives to them. We become vulnerable to their actions and decisions. If they make us happy, we feel amazing. But when they leave us or hurt us, we fall into deep darkness. Imagine a man whose entire life revolves around his partner. He can't imagine life without them, and every decision he makes is always based on his partner's wishes. When their relationship ends, he feels like he's lost everything. He doesn't know how to continue living because he's always relied on his partner for happiness. The emptiness and loss he feels are so deep, as if the entire world has left him. True happiness is something we must find within ourselves. When we depend on others for happiness, we surrender control of our lives to them. However, when we learn to find happiness within ourselves, we become stronger, more independent, and more capable of facing life's challenges. True happiness comes from within, from self-love, self-acceptance, and gratitude for the life we have. Pain is an inseparable part of our life's journey. But we don't have to let that wound control us. From every scar, there's a lesson to be learned. From every tear, there's strength to be found. Life is full of challenges, but it's also full of hope. When we learn to accept, to love ourselves, and to find happiness from within, we'll realize that we are far stronger than we ever imagined. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to give it a like, share it with your friends who might need this message, and subscribe for more inspirational content. Leave a comment below about your own experience in overcoming pain, because your story might help someone else facing similar challenges. Remember, you are not alone. We are all in this journey together.